Hey there, I'm Levi with Nifty Method and super excited to have with us today Erin Keplinger with CTI. Hey Erin, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Levi. It's great to be here.
Thanks for joining us. So we're very curious to learn a little bit more about you and more about CTI. So can you kind of tell us what you do and tell us who CTI is?
Sure. So I am a marketing manager here at Conference Technologies Incorporated. We are based in St. Louis, Missouri, but we have 27 offices nationwide and are constantly growing. So we really are a nationwide company. CTI is an audio-visual company, and what that really means is that we deal with everything that you see and hear whenever you're in a space. That can be broken down. There's a number of facets, but it can really be broken down into a few categories. You have AV integration, which is conference rooms that are all tricked out, your sound systems, that sort of thing. Then you have broadcasting. That isn't really so much like television news broadcasting. It can be a studio, either on site with us or brought into your location, but that's really heavily like game day event experience. So if you were to go to, like here in St. Louis, we have the St. Louis Cardinals. That's the Jumbotron, the Kiss Cam, the streaming to ESPN. And all those things, that's us. And
All the
then
things I
live
want to make sure
events.
that nobody ever sees me on. Got it.
Correct. All the things that you don't want to be seen on. But once a kiss cam's on you, you have no
Oh
choice.
gosh,
You know what I mean?
I
You're
don't
you're
like those
kissing.
things.
Yeah. Well, it's going to happen. And then we have the live events, which is full event production, start to finish. And so that'll include all sorts of things, whether it be, video walls, obviously your tech boards, your video capture during the event, and now streaming, live chat, that sort of thing. And so those are our three main branches, and we have other things that fall under that.
Great, and we're literally surrounded by everything you guys are doing. If we can see it
Hmm.
and hear it, an AV company like CTI is typically behind it.
We're using it right now.
Yeah, we are. Absolutely are. So the future of AV that's a huge question. It covers a ton of stuff, right? So let's break
Yeah.
that down into a few sort of smaller questions. So the word hybrid, right? That's a word
Mm.
that we hear a lot lately. It's pretty popular. So when we hear the word hybrid, what does that mean to you guys?
Hybrid, right? We hear this word a lot, like pivot. I think these are probably going to soon be Fortnite dance moves. Looking forward to that time. But hybrid, in a word, means accessibility, right? I mean, being able to reach more people with what you're doing in the moment. Our whole public has shifted. No one has missed out on that. By now everybody knows. People have like literally moved homes because of the viability of virtual workspaces. And yet at the same time, there's this deep craving for interaction and gathering. And people are trying to figure out how to manage both sides of this. And I really think hybrid is the pathway that connects both sides of that road. And it's not going anywhere. Hybrid's a matter of convenience. It's also a matter of safety for some people. Um, it's really hybrids here, and it's up to various sectors to determine how they're going to achieve their organization's mission while meeting their clients' needs at the same time. And there's a lot we're figuring out. There's a number of platforms, things that like Zoom and Teams used to be solutions looking for a problem, and now we've given them one. And so we're really looking to get more educated all the time and be able to use them and implement them. But at the same time, it's really exciting because it's a whole new wave of innovation, of opportunities, of creative ways to engage. And so it's just a really exciting, if sometimes challenging, time. And hybrid is going to make it more anything that we do more accessible.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so to do that, whether it's in person or it's hybrid or it's all virtual, that takes people, that takes experts, and the on the technical side especially. So when you think about AV staffing,
Hmm.
what does that look like from a live events perspective?
Right. Well, live events, man, did the bottom drop out of those or what this past year? So I think for everybody involved in live events, you're looking at some scaled back crews. You're looking, in some cases, at skeleton crews, but you're also looking at experts on those crews. So whereas you might have a lot of people and you have to make sure you know who the expert is, right now they're all really well versed in everything they're doing and they know how to make it happen, how to be effective and efficient. And I think that's probably changed how things are going to move forward, that you're going to have tight crews who are effective and efficient, and less is going to be more in a lot of these situations.
And do you feel like with that, a lot of people over the last 12 months or so, because it's been smaller crews and they've had to do more with less, do you feel like they have used that time to kind of level up their skills and learn some new things and to, make it all work more fluidly that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on. They've out of necessity, and honestly, just the extra time. If people are used to working a lot, if people who are in events are sort of adrenaline junkies, and
Right.
so they're used to moving and doing a lot of stuff, and they can't have that kind of open boredom space. So they've been really honing their skills, getting really good and learning new technologies. So moving forward, they're really ready to just sink their teeth into the next season.
Yeah, these events folks, and I am one of them, so I get it. But just the amount of caffeine it takes to keep them running, I'm not sure how that works. But you're
We
right
have
in
some right
terms of
here. Do
energy.
you need a cup?
Yeah. No, but I like your French press though. That's awesome.
Thanks. Thanks. It's the only way to go.
So the benefit of working with a third party company like yours in this sort of another word I don't want to use again in 2021, but the new normal. Right? Add that to our list over here of words we don't want to.
Right.
But can you talk us through some of the benefits of working with a company like CTI, given this live, hybrid, and virtual reality that we're all kind of charging into head on and with levels of comfort, but working with experts such as yourselves, what sort of benefits does that give us?
Sure. Well, if you kind of compare this to maybe the Hunger Games when they all go into the last arena and, you've got your IT people there, you've got your, District 3 people who are water, you need all the people from all the districts to really achieve whatever plan it is. In their case,
Right.
obviously escape. We're trying to escape this close down that we're in as well.
It's a good analogy.
So
I like that.
everybody's got jobs to be done,
Yeah.
and you can't be an expert at everything. Not everybody's going to know how to hot wire the arena. And, we just need people who know what they're doing. So sorry for the Hunger Games analogy, but just
I like it.
in my mind.
No, it's very accurate. At
But
least that's what it's felt like lately.
right, yeah. You hire experts to
Right.
do what they're good at so that you can do what you're good at. You have a job to be done, you want it to be done well, and that's where you get that partnership and collaboration in. And collaboration is 100% our process. We engage in the process, we design together, we're game planning, working all the way through and executing it in a way that's going to see success, and that you're going to be, whoever we're working with is just really a part the whole time.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing to have, right? So I call these AV experts or event experts or anything that's a job that is not mine to do necessarily. Because we've all been in the situation where we've got to figure out how to kind of make it all work, and we all know multitasking is not really a thing. If you're trying to do
Right.
more than one task at one time, especially if that task is not your sort of bread and butter or your efficiency task or your area of expertise, then you're probably not doing it as well. So having that
Right.
expert there, and I call you guys like my security blanket, but having that there, feels like you're turning that security blanket into more like a Superman cape, right? Like we can do all
Nice,
these
yeah.
things now. We have the team of experts behind the scenes, and that's really allowing, if we have our specific job to be done, we can focus only on that and not worry about what else might be going on that we don't necessarily know how to handle. So it's awesome to know that we've got folks like you guys behind the scenes making all of that stuff work. So
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
to hardwire the arena for sure. So that would not be good for anybody. So thinking about event managers now, and how can event managers communicate and collaborate better with AV professionals in this new environment?
Yeah, I think that is always a really tough one. So often you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so you don't even know to ask the right questions. A lot of it is figuring out what are the important and best questions to ask to get to where you want to go. And so I would say really finding the right people to work with. You find a good event producer, they're going to help get you to the right questions. They already can anticipate some of those. And together, again, that collaboration, working together, you work it through and arrive where everybody's clear and you know where you're getting, and that things are going to go so smooth no one's going to even know AV was going on.
Right.
So we all know if you have bad AV, you know about it. But if you have
Yeah,
great
everybody
AV, then
knows
everyone
about
just
it.
had a good time.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
at a restaurant. Nobody knows about the kitchen until the food goes wrong. And then all of a sudden everybody knows about the kitchen.
Yeah,
So, it's the same thing. You want to know what to ask, but even when you don't, just get with good people
yeah,
who are easy to work with, and you guys get there. And then the more knowledge base you get, the more you know how to guide those conversations.
yeah, absolutely. And communication is the key, and you hit it right
Mhm.
on there. And I think working with teams, more and more, and becoming more comfortable with, just knowing enough of
Mhm.
what's going on and who to contact, right? Like having those,
Yeah.
whether it's on site or on call, sort of point of contacts that just can kind of put you at ease, and you're able to communicate. But it's also about, clear communication from the event managers to,
Mhm.
anybody else that's working, whether it's the live space or the hybrid space, knowing what's expected, right? What do they want their
Yeah.
audience to feel and see and kind of get from that event? I've always thought the more that the AV professionals know about that, and they understand the goals and
Mhm.
objectives, and they're right there with, and good partnership, that just brings more to the experience. Because I found that, these AV folks, we often, again, they're like the kitchen, crew that you talked
Mhm.
about. We take them for granted. Go in your closet back there and just make the things look good,
Right.
right? The more they know about the objectives, like I said, of the event, the more they can bring to the table and say, well, have you thought about doing it this way? We have a
Exactly.
solution over there. Or we did this one time and it worked really well. So bring them
Mhm.
into your conversation, right? I think
Yep.
that's
Collaborate.
really is key.
Absolutely.
Absolutely collaborate. That's a
Dialogue.
great point.
Mhm. And I think
So,
too, to
go
that
ahead.
point, just to add on, I think
Yeah,
really starting to in collaboration cultivate as well those
yeah,
relationships, some worthwhile relationships. There has been a culling of the herd when it comes to businesses in
yeah,
every sector, including this. And find and cultivate good relationships. You find someone who can work with you in multiple venues, then you just keep building that. They become a resource. Even if they're not working on something, you can call them and bounce off, I'm having this issue, or I was thinking about
yeah.
this. And, you can really work it through. And that those relationships are going to be key to being comfortable in moving forward in a new space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just did that earlier today. Actually, I had a
Mm-hmm.
question about some audio issues, and I pinged my favorite contact who was
Mm-hmm.
happy to give advice, right? And
Great.
they it was quick and easy because there's a relationship already there. It's already
Mm-hmm.
established, and I think a lot of people over the last 12 months or so have found that they've
Mm-hmm.
had the need to try this tech or that tech, or maybe a different group or a different third party vendor. And you're right. There has been, kind of a narrowing down of who's doing this really well and who's obviously standing out. So I would encourage folks,
Yeah.
keep looking for solutions that make your whole
Mm-hmm.
experience better, and then establish those partnerships and those relationships now. So,
That's good advice.
even if you don't have a need now, you know who to call when something comes up, because especially AV, something always comes up. Um,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It works until it
So,
doesn't.
oh my gosh, yes. So the thinking about CTI and all of these different pieces that we've talked about. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of bring up that maybe we haven't discussed yet, or any questions that you were like, "Gosh, I wish you would have asked me about that," but I didn't necessarily bring it up.
Well, I think in terms of developing partnerships, finding someone who's got the bandwidth and the history is something I would add to that, that
Yeah,
we hadn't really touched on. And that's something I'm very confident about that we have here. I know there are others in the market. But I think that's really important because you don't want to go in, it goes back to just having the right team. You don't want to go in with somebody who's just decided that this is their new COVID career. You want somebody who's going in
yeah,
and really knows what they're doing and spent the last few months honing their expertise because they didn't have anything else they got to do for a little bit. That is something I just would really encourage people to focus on. And then if you have a company that is nationwide, I mean, so many people host and plan events all over the country. And you don't want to have somebody, a third party in each different location. You want that one
right.
person you can call, go get it done right, in and out. We try to we have this little mantra, fast, fair, flexible. You want somebody who's just going to be there with you and can do all those things, and especially the fast part.
Yes, always the fast part. But the other parts are just equally important, because,
It's true.
we were talking before about, how, I know CTI is, all over, and they've got coverage, coast to coast, and, even globally. So having that partner that is consistent and having those, points of contact within that partner is very valuable, because if, we all know that locations are different everywhere you go, and solutions
Right.
are different everywhere you go, right? So having somebody who is that experienced and has coverage, you might be doing a show on the East Coast, but you need some sort of, solution, and you've never been there. Having a partner that is well established and has their own partnerships in that, that local area, they just know who to call, who to bring in, who to fix the problem. It just makes it that much easier. So, it's very
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's kind of bring all this together. Erin.
Okay.
Think about, AV in general. What
Okay.
does, and I know, get out your little crystal ball, because I'm going to ask like the hard questions now, but like,
It's like my magic coffee here.
coffee counts, absolutely.
Yes.
Stir your coffee, see if you can see into the
Yeah.
future. What does the future of AV look like?
Well, I mean, my guess is as good as yours in a lot of ways. I think, on a practical level, it looks like all the things. It looks like video walls, digital signage, live streaming, real-time chats, in-person, hybrid, post-production. I think the importance of that's going to continue to go on the rise.
Absolutely.
Clients and attendees are not going to, as graciously, I should say, accept a hard stop cancellation of an event. I think moving forward at this point, enough technology has been developed. Entire fields and industries are starting to grow now.
Now we know there's
Both
another way to do it, right?
right, and so you really, I do think, while we can't tell if there's going to be some type of shutdown again or what. I do think the importance of being multifaceted is part of the future of AV. The ability to pivot, to use our favorite word, and to just adapt. And so the importance of those partnerships, so that when you have something in play, you aren't ever hit and stop.
Right.
You may shift things, you may have to maneuver and say, okay, well, at this point we have to go online, but you don't just hit a hard stop. And so I think the future of AV is having all those elements. I think the other part is really how to connect and make things feel close without actually being close.
Right.
And I think for some people, that particular element may become a permanent attribute for an event. Some people are going to want to get right up on the stage again, but some people are not. And so really being able to have that in mind in future event production, I think is going to be important too.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Time will tell.
Again, time will tell. Who knows exactly what will happen? But I think the key things you hit on there were right on. Flexibility, adaptability, and then just coming at things with a different perspective, knowing that what we thought was the only way to do something before, we just know is not the truth, and that there are so many smart people out there, and everybody has adapted in their own way, and there's a lot more solutions available to us now, and I think people are now even more than ever encouraged to keep discovering and trying new things and connecting in new ways. So Erin, how can we get in touch with you and with CTI? Can you, point us to some websites and some contact information so folks can reach out?
Sure. So if you wanted to reach me directly, you could shoot me an email at ekeplinger@conferencetech.com. You could also catch up with me on LinkedIn at Erin Keplinger or Twitter at Erin Keplinger. But for conference technologies, you could go to conferencetech.com and cruise around the website or go straight to live events if that's what you're focused on. You can also connect with us on Facebook at Conference Tech Inc. and on Twitter at CTIAV and Conference Tech Inc. also on LinkedIn. So there's just some ways to connect with us and start any conversations. Be happy to just answer any questions, bounce ideas around. Just really open, and honestly, there's a lot of AV nerds here, so they love talking about this. We can all day long shoot the breeze. There's a lot of fun. This is a passion. It's not just a position for people. So, it's a great time to connect, especially as things are gearing back up. People have some space in their own mental bandwidth to just start that collaboration and relational process.
Yeah, Absolutely. Well, Erin, thank you again so much for joining us and chatting about, all things AV and kind of where things are headed and, how CTI can be a resource for folks. So really appreciate your time. And
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.